everybody, and we're live.
Why are you
right
counting
now.
down?
And
what
we're
the fuck is
live.
happening?
We're live right now.
I don't know what to do about this. Hey guys,
For some
We're
reason,
back.
the guest list says Echo's drawing. I fixed it. We're good. Hi, everybody. It's our
I'm
first
the only
time
one
in a while.
drawing today. You don't even need to have that up there.
Just in case, you know. Fine, I'll get rid of it. He never lets me do nothing.
Ooh.
How are we all doing? Are we all having a good?
Bryce is a little giggly today.
Are we all having a good Monday?
Is today just Monday? Jesus Christ. Let's go. This is my first stream I've been in. How is everyone? Hey, Mob Plays. This is nice to have you here. Normally Bryce does that, but he didn't read it.
Hey, Mob Plays.
Before stream, Bryce was the rowdiest, most talking motherfucker I've ever heard. Stream started, Bryce just turns off.
Well, I had to.
He's
I had
not
to,
said two words.
I had a thing. I have to. A thing popped up.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We're not streaming or anything. I'll entertain people. I'm the guy.
I'm sorry. It was a family hoopla.
Yeah.
Last names have always been a point of contention between Scott and I, actually.
Yes.
Strangely
the point
enough-
of contention is that Bryce doesn't want to do them.
Yeah, I just don't see a point in them.
So I'm like, hey, what's this character's last name? He goes, oh. I'm like, well, we kind of need that. He goes, nah.
Every time I'm like, how many times have I said this motherfucker's last name? When is Lucia's name in the Pandy Bear set? The only time she's introduced.
The first page.
But it's, first of all, you fucking moron, it's the second and third page. Know your own book. Second of all, that's the only time it's ever mentioned in the book. You know why? Because she didn't need a last name. This happens every book. This is always a big point of contention between the two of us.
But it was used in other non-book related things.
Go on.
Well, I don't remember, but it was. I think Kindred Heavens would be a very different story if they didn't have.
Well, because you know what? Because the last name's relevant to the book. That's a time when it makes sense. But what I'm saying is, when it's a fucking
You
random
probably
action
still
comic,
didn't even want to give them a.
I
name for that.
I never protested to the last names in Kindred Heavens. I'll thank you very much. I even gave most of the characters their last names. I think Voight.
Yeah, what's
and
Robin's last name?
Santer. I think Voight and fuck
fair
you.
enough.
First of all. Fucking
Fair
come at
enough.
me. What's Robin's last name, motherfucker? I wrote the character. Don't ask me Annabelle's last name. I don't remember if she has a last name, to be honest. You know, we had to send out something recently to a publisher, and we had to call you a writer on the project, and that was a little upsetting to me. You know, it's kind of like, that's my shtick.
Well, we don't exist. We didn't do that project.
That... I don't think we can really get too deep into that, but that is true.
I don't know. Why can't we? We don't exist. Why? Who in the fuck would know? I mean,
It's, you know, it's part of the industry. Sometimes you gotta pretend you don't exist. Sometimes you're not allowed to say who you are or what you've done because your image is so bad to the publishing world that you are a smear upon anything that you try and put out. But that's neither here nor there.
hey, our name is JW Bean. We have done crowdfund projects.
We have written successful webcomic.
But hey, we're going to Texas.
We're going to Texas, and
And
there
we'll
we're
be there
allowed
under our
to
own
say
name. Yes.
There you will get to meet the Bryce Beal and Scott Mallon. You will not have to meet a certain individual named Mr. J.W. Bean. Scott and Bryce, what tropes would you say are your favorites, and what are some that you want to throw in the trash?
But you've said, what was that?
That was a.
I didn't like that at all.
What's your favorite art piece you've made, Scott?
Honestly, that question is an interesting one. And I get asked it from time to time. I would say that my favorite art piece that I made would be one of our books, either The Panty Bear or Kindred Heavens. The reason it's not definitely Kindred Heavens is because it's not finished yet. Like, there's still other books to draw, and The Panty Bear is like a self-contained thing. I think that would be my answer, because I like to think of them as just like one whole thing. one whole piece of artwork. Like, what's my favorite thing? Like, I don't have just one thing that I'm like, oh yeah, this is my one drawing, the one cover I did, or whatever. I'm always thinking about like, oh, this is like the whole artistic piece that I made, this book. And so it would be that.
I don't know. You're talking about this. You're talking about the panty bear, and I talked to my dad yesterday. And I was talking to him about the panty bear because I was asking him something. He was telling me he had read it, and I didn't know he'd ever read the panty bear. And he's saying that was just. I was like, I asked him. I said, Dad, what are your thoughts on the panty bear? Like, did you like it? And he pauses and he goes, I was reading it, and I thought this came out of the woman I love. And that was just a really funny way to word that.
So did he like it? Or?
That's all he told me.
You know, my grandfather backed the Kindred Heavens Kickstarter.
Is that true?
Yes, under a fake name.
Okay.
I don't know why he felt the need to use a fake name, but if you've not filled out your backer survey, I will kill you. I will.
The longer you take, the closer the death robots get.
You're just not gonna get your book, and it's gonna be like a year from now, and you're gonna be like, when am I gonna get my copy? And we're gonna be like, well, you didn't fill out the fucking survey, and we're nice guys, so we'll probably still try and get it to you, but you know.
Well, we will talk about it privately in a negative way.
We'll give you a lot of shit just between him and me.
It will forever live in your conscience that you will have to think, oh, the two creators I love don't love me. We would never make a porn game.
That's just not our style.
Looks at my 200 hours in RPG Maker. We're good Christian boys now. We've learned from our sins. Remember, we can't be named even.
That's true. We don't exist.
We're not allowed to even say that we exist. We actually have to keep ourselves literally hidden, like we are little blemishes that if they find out about us, we will plague the entire industry. We're like the bad boys of the publishing. You know, we're kind of the bad boys.
Turns out Disney not super big on the whole made porn thing. You know, Bryce, you've never been on an aeroplane.
That is true.
Are you nervous?
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm nervous, but I'm nervous about everything. I have so I'm an interesting person. I have like a resting level of nervousness that's like my base nervousness, and this is what I call like a little bit of anxious about everything. You know, like I'm always a little bit. Sometimes I brush my teeth and I'm like, okay, well, you know, this is a nerve-wracking experience, but that's like what I'm used to. That's like my base level of existing nervousness. It's only ever when I go above that, when I start to get into like the different levels, that's when it starts to notice. And I've not really gotten into that with this yet. But I figure, especially because we're gonna be on the same plane, the chances of anything going wrong relatively mitigated. Because two things. For one, I probably won't get on the wrong plane if you're there.
I like that the chances are still only probably.
I do wander off sometimes. You kind of have to keep an eye on me, or I'll just like, because not even wander off as in like I'm curious, but I'm so forgetful. I go on autopilot sometimes. I'm more nervous about me like getting back from Texas. Like I don't know. I'm just nervous that I'll somehow like get myself lost in Texas.
This is a stupid question, but do we have the same flight out of Texas? We didn't actually check that.
Hold on, nervousness has gone up to level 1. I'll be right back.
Well, it'll be all right.
I gotta go. Oh no, I gotta go grab the thing I was telling you about before.
Oh, I see.
I'll be right back.
He's got sex toys that was delivered. I don't know that for sure, but he didn't. I don't know that that's not what it is.
Quick, tell us a secret about him. What did you say? What did you tell him while I was gone?
Oh no, nothing.
I mean, I'm an open book. I don't care. I'm just curious.
I don't know. I'm a terrible stream host. Don't leave me alone.
You go, I wouldn't. You know the amount of fetishes of mine that you've admitted on stream? There have been at least 3 fetishes that you've outed me for on stream. Like,
okay, that's true.
Hey, did you know Bryce likes people's mothers? He wants to fuck their mothers. What about
but you've
bimbos?
Embraced it. You're the fetish guy.
I'm the fetish guy.
If there's a fetish, Bryce probably has it.
I don't know if I would say that. I don't really want that being said about me.
I don't know why. I don't intentionally know all of your fetishes. It just happened.
Well, you see, Mal,
you just have no shame.
I really do. That is actually a problem with me, and I really have to control myself. I have no care about stuff like that. Like, I have no shame. I'll talk about anything. I really don't care. But then I think about the fact that, like, I'm telling this to a lot of people, and, like, my parents could hear. Like, it's different than when I'm you know. So I try and control myself a little bit.
And usually I was right.
Tentacle Zorn? I don't know what Zorn means. But I do not like tentacles.
Zorn.
That's what you're asking. I think they're gross.
This is where Bryce becomes super judgmental. Don't kink shame. Don't kink shame other people.
No, I'm not kink shaming anybody. I just don't like. I don't know. I guess the problem with me is I imagine what it would actually be like to have a tentacle shoved inside of you, and it just doesn't seem very appealing.
Okay.
You know, like think about that. Like, think about putting a tentacle.
No,
up your
I
ass.
don't
It doesn't. Yeah, see, yeah, I know you don't. But yeah, you draw it. Yeah, you've drawn a woman with tentacles inside of her. But you didn't
Not
think.
often.
But you didn't think, is what you're saying.
No,
you didn't think.
I didn't.
You didn't think about how it felt.
I didn't sit down.
You didn't sit down and
interview.
go, "What is this like for her?"
What's happened? What's going on here?
Do
Make
you
it
remember
black
the?
and yellow like a bee?
Do you remember like the Snorks, the Smurfs, but the underwater Smurfs?
No.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Or what they call it, the
I haven't-
Snorks? I think they were called the Snorks. That's kind of.
I have no idea what you're
Hold on, no. Let me cook. Yeah, they were called the Snorks. Yeah, they were like. They were Smurfs, but they were underwater. The Snorks. See? Does anyone else remember the Snorks?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Look, it ran from 1984 to 88. The Snorks. Did you ever watch the Smurfs growing up?
I did. I was young enough that I don't really remember it.
You just
But
have
I
like,
remember
vague
that I
memories of
did it.
watching it.
Yeah.
That's
And
kind of where I'm
that-
at, yeah.
That fuck, that guy.
Gargamel.
Who is Gargamel.
And his
who,
cat.
I guess. Yeah, and his fucking cat. He was an asshole. Why'd they let that guy get away with that?
He was a bad dude. Like, the Smurfs trying to have a good time. And he's like...
He just came and fucked it up.
I don't even remember what he does. Does he like try and
He
eat
just-
the Smurfs?
No, he wants to kill all of them. He wants to
Is that
fucking
true?
Smurf genocide. Yes!
He wants to Smurf them.
He wa-
Oh, I'm a Smurf. Yeah. Aren't they all named
Hey.
after like what their living in life is? Like, isn't it kind of like communism? Like, from birth, you're born, and they're like, "You're Bill D," and they like hand him a hammer.
I don't know.
Isn't
I
that
don't
what
remember
Smurf
that.
like life is like? Am I crazy? And like the one girl, she's just Smurfette. Her role is just girl. Like, she came out there, they were like, "Your village girl." And then there's the one that's like dumbass. Like, that's like, it's like he's dopey. That's his
Okay,
name.
that's-
No, I'm being
yes.
serious.
No, you're right. I
They're
mean,
just
you're out of
like,
line, but
this
you're
one
right.
came out, and they're just like, "This one's a fucking idiot." Smurfs are kind of fucked up. Now that I'm thinking,
You know
of
what? Maybe Gilgamesh or whatever his name was.
Gilgamesh.
Maybe he had a point.
Hold on. I'm gonna look up all the different Smurfs. List of Smurfs characters. Let's go. So you have Smurfette, who's apparently the main protagonist, and she was created by Gargamel, according to the lore.
Okay.
I don't know what this means. She originally
Does she
had
call him
black
Daddy?
hair, but when Papa Smurf made her into a Smurf, it became blonde. Before the Smurflings created Sassette, Smurfette was the only female in the village. The other female is named Sassette. Then you have Papa Smurf, you have Clumsy Smurf, you have Brainy Smurf, you have Grouchy Smurf, you have Hefty Smurf, you have Greedy Smurf.
Yo, that guy, he have hefty Smurf.
Apparently, at some point, Hefty becomes the leader of the Smurfs.
Is that true?
Yeah, Papa Smurf makes him the leader.
What happened to Papa Smurf?
I don't know. It says Papa appoints Hefty Smurf as the leader of the Smurfs in season 3, Handy Kite. In several episodes, Papa selects Hefty Smurf as the leader of separate teams in dangerous missions. Then you have
What?
you have Greedy Smurf, Jokey Smurf. Then you have Chef Smurf. You have Vanity Smurf, Handy Smurf,
Vanity Smurf.
Scaredy Smurf, Tracker Smurf, Sloppy Smurf, Harmony Smurf, Painter Smurf, Poet Smurf. It keeps going. I'm not stopping until I get through all these. Farmer Smurf, Natural Smurf.
What?
Originally a full-grown Smurf as Natural Smurf, he had his age reversed in an accident with Father Time's reversal clock and became a Smurfling in season 5. Snappy Smurfling, Slouchy Smurfling, Sassette Smurfling, Baby Smurf. I don't know what the difference between the Smurflings and the Baby Smurf is, but
So is Baby Smurf like always gonna be a baby?
well, all it says here is that Baby Smurf was brought by Feathers the Stork on the night of the blue moon.
Okay.
Grandpa Smurf, Alchemist Smurf, Timid Smurf, aka Actor Smurf, Architect Smurf, Baker Smurf, Clockwork Smurf, who is not an actual Smurf. He is actually a wooden robot built by Handy Smurf. Despite the European middle-aged technology level at which the Smurfs are, he is capable of feelings and morality. Dabbler Smurf, who is the most introverted and sentimental Smurf. He is constantly tormented by an inherent sadness, which stems from the inability of his friends to understand him. Dabbler's life is a never-ending quest for love and to be understood.
What?
He later becomes Dr. Smurf. Dr. Smurf is the residential doctor. He has very superficial knowledge of medicine and health, using scattered sources of medical books to give prescriptions. Nevertheless, he takes great pride in his self-established job, which is lackluster at best and harmful at worst. Dopey Smurf, Enamored Smurf, who is named so because he dreams about Smurfette, carves her name in trees, pulls petals off of daisies, and when she loves him, and then he cries all night. Finance Smurf, who introduces currency to the world, but then gets rid of it because it creates poverty and corruption in the Smurf world.
What?
I promise you, I'm this is all real. Flying Smurf, King Smurf, Lazy Smurf, Minor Smurf, Nanny Smurf, Nosy Smurf, Editor Smurf, Reflection Smurf. Reflection Smurf used to be Vanity Smurf's reflection, as the name implies, but came to life after a lightning bolt struck Vanity Smurf's mirror. He originally spoke in the reverse Smurf language and did everything in reverse. When he tried to get back into the mirror after being kicked out of Vanity's house, he got struck by another lightning bolt. This time, it allowed him to speak and do everything normally, and thus he was a Smurf ever since. Reporter Smurf.
I don't remember that. There's like politics?
Sneezy Smurf, aka the Sickly Smurf. Stinky Smurf / nice smelling Smurf. Sweepy Smurf, Taylor Smurf. Weakling Smurf, aka Wimpy Smurf. Wild Smurf, Weepy Smurf. Tuffy Smurf, Woolly Smurf, Nurse Smurf, Lucky Smurf, Lumberjack Smurf, Pretentious Smurf, Pasty Cook Smurf, Submariner Smurf, Gutsy Smurf, Navigator Smurf, Fisher Smurf, Hunter Smurf, Marco Smurf, who is a spoof of Marco Polo, Flighty Smurf, and then this one says, should not be counted, Don Smurfo, who is a fictional character in one of the Smurf books, Nobody Smurf, who is a Smurf who gets often overlooked, Crazy Smurf, Narrator Smurf, Passive Aggressive Smurf, Panicky Smurf, Social Smurf, Smooth Smurf, Clueless Smurf, Party Planner Smurf, Vexy Smurf. Vexy was an original creation by Gargamel. Like her brother Haxus, Vexy was turned into a real Smurf by the spell that was originally used on Smurfette. She was introduced in movie 2 and is voiced by Christina Ricci. Did you know that Shaun White and Shaquille O'Neal also voiced Smurfs in the movie? That's another little fact for you. Hackus Smurf, Complimentary Smurf, Drummer Smurf, Schemer Smurf, Dreamy Smurf, Gullible, Paranoid, Policeman, Magician, Mime, Table Eating, Karate, Winner, Loser, Smurf Willow, Popper Smurf's female counterpart in the Lost Smurf Village, Smurf Blossom, Smurf Storm, Smurf Lily, Smurl Blagonia, Smurf Melody, Smurf J. Okay, so apparently at some point in the lore, there started to be a Lost Smurf Village where they don't go like blank Smurf, they name themselves Smurf blank, and that's what we're in right now. We're in the Lost Village. You following? We're in the Lost Village Smurfs. Smurf Storm, Smurf Lily, Smurf Begonia, Smurf Melody, Smurf Jade, Smurf Petal, Smurf Clother, Smurf Meadow, Smurf Daisy, Smurf Holly, Smurf Hazel, Smurf Honey, Miller Smurf, and Smurf Mouse. There's 107 Smurfs.
We did it.
Now the villains. Gargamel.
Oh no.